Welcome to the Passive Income Podcast. I'm your host, Dividend Dave. Please be sure to join the Passive Income Posse by clicking that subscribe button below. Super excited for today's guest. You can find her on Twitter. The Twitter handle, I believe, is at InvestMZ. And I'm going to throw it over to you to just give yourself a bit of an introduction.
Hey everyone. Thank you so much, Dave, for having me. I am Mz Novie. I'm Genovia, but I go by Mz Novie, Miss Invest, however you want to portray it.
Nice.
I am a passive income queen. That's what I call myself.
Nice.
Um, I'm a mom of two. I started blindly investing back in 2017 with no kind of direction. But I found Stash and I learned different things. My first thing, go to thing, were things I were already using, which was my bank, places I ate at, places I shopped at, gas companies I used. So that's how I started small, investing with Stash. And
So, like, you mean investing in companies that you're familiar with, the companies that
right,
you pay. So that's one of my favorite sayings is all of my audience knows turn that cash register around, right? So
yes.
and I did notice on your Twitter profile, it literally says heavy on the dividends.
Yes, yes. That's something I preach. That's something I really preach because once I found out that I could park my money with companies that I use basically day to day,
Right.
I was like, that's the cheat code.
Yes.
And once I found, Stash, and you can do as little, like they should have you started with $5. And if you only have $1 sitting in your account, you could just put that towards something fractional shares. Like if
Right.
you didn't have to have all the money. So like that was a game changer for me. And once I realized me changing that small amount into bigger amounts when I had more, oh, it was so much of a game changer. A
I
funny
hear you.
story. I went into Wells Fargo 2016 and I was applying for a credit card. And prior to that, for years, they only tried to get me secure, but this time they gave me one with $1,000 limit. So I say, hey, ask them about investing. And the guy, like, he kind of whispered, he was like, yeah, you kind of need like 100K or better. And I was like, what? Now, fast forward to 2023, every time I open my app, they're telling me all I need is a minimum of $500. I'm like,
Right.
oh, I'm past that stage now. I'm way past that stage now. But yeah, I was always intrigued about investing. And my dad knew a little because he's a technical engineer for Sony. I think that's the correct term. But he automatically had investments with them, but he didn't really know how to help me. And that's the same for my mom. My mom blindly invested in her 401k, but no one knew how to help me. No one that looked like me, no one in my age bracket, nobody knew how to help me.
Right.
So Stash was my lifesaver, and I started with $5 weekly. The more I got paid, I upped it, more and more. And then fast forward to 2019, I on my breaks, full time, I am a Head Start teacher. So outside of being a mom, having a family, the kids, their dad, I have other people kids all day. Don't ask
Oh
me how I
wow.
manage all
You're
this.
very busy.
Don't ask me, Dave, how I manage all this, but I do it. So yeah. So 2019 on my breaks, when I would drop the kids off the specials, my students, I was in my phone. I was on YouTube, reading videos, researching, and then boom, 2020 hit.
Oh
I
yeah.
immediately transferred. I think I had about 5,000 sitting in Robinhood. I went from Stash to Robinhood,
Hmm.
climbing up that ladder. So I heard a lot of bad things that year. So I was like, let me take my little 5,000 out. That's a lot of money to me.
Oh,
And
that's a lot of money to a lot of people, right?
exactly. I immediately put it into TD Ameritrade. And what I loved about TD Ameritrade, it's so user friendly. They
Nice.
have an entire university in there where you can just sit for hours and learn whatever you want in the
That's amazing.
financial sector. So I self taught myself a lot of things. And from 2020, when the pandemic hit, I had so much knowledge from 2019. I was ready. I
Oh,
was
that's
ready when it hit.
great.
So as I'm sitting home, you're seeing people on social media, they got Amazon boxes coming to their house every day. No, I was buying Amazon stock. Okay.
Yeah.
I was buying Amazon stock around the same time. That's when I don't know if you guys have Popeyes in Canada, but every Popeyes was wrapped around the corner for the chicken sandwich.
Yep.
I invested in the brand. I
Nice.
invested in a company. So it's all about changing your mental. Once I was so focused on that, from 2020 to 2021, I took my account from 5,000 to $85,000, Dave, in
Holy
1 year.
wow.
Yes,
That's what's that saying when preparation meets opportunity? So you prepared in 2019 and then opportunity knocked on the door in 2020 and you just went, "Thank you
I
very
went
much."
bonkers. I went crazy. Okay,
Wow.
but with investing, there's trial and error. Some
For
of the
sure.
greatest investors, we've lost money. I didn't know about, 2021 being so high and peak. And, you're supposed to scale your money and, you're supposed to, sell some off. It's a lot I didn't. So I watched some of my income fall.
Yeah, when
But
2022 came and sort of,
yeah,
market correction,
ah,
stocks
oh my God.
receded and yeah.
Listen. Oh my goodness. So I watched my 85K drop to about, I want to say a little over 40.
Right.
And a lot of it, a hard lesson for me, Dave, was margin. I had to learn blindly about margin. And I was negative about 20K in margin.
Okay.
And I got on one day and I always talked about my Tesla. I was so excited to be a part of each of the splits from 2020 to last year, 2022. Oh my goodness, Dave, I had to sell my Tesla. So I call
Your
margin the
Tesla shares,
doghouse.
not your actual Tesla car.
Right. No, don't have a Tesla. But that's the greatness. And I wouldn't even say bad because there's a lesson in every loss. And as
Right.
an
For sure.
investor, on your journey, you're going to learn how to turn a loss into a great, valuable lesson. The
For sure.
entire time, Dave, that I was negative or whatever loss I took, I still had well over 25K invested in dividends. So those dividends were still rolling in.
Yep.
I started ET, Energy Transfer, in 2020 with about 20 shares. Now, today, I have 817 shares.
Oh, wow.
E- ET alone brings me well over like $240 quarterly. It's
Yeah.
gonna go up next quarter, of course. And so I started from there. I took my focus and I didn't let my loss beat me down. I continued to take my money and put it towards more dividend income. Because when you versify your portfolios, you won't get hit so much across the board if you're spreading your money out.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
also newly invested in crypto in 2021.
Yep.
And I think I had about 4 ETH back then. And
And that
I
was when
sold off
ETH was
a
at the
few.
highest point of, like, say,
Yeah,
4
yeah,
4 grand
yeah,
USD, and so, yeah, you're up
yeah.
to say 12 or maybe even up to close to $15,000 worth of ETH, and then well, we know
Yeah.
what happened to
So
crypto in the latter stages of 2022.
yes. So again, learning, I learned very a tough lesson from my actual stock portfolio. So I didn't let it happen to me with crypto. So I went ahead and moved around a few things and learning more as I went. I also taught myself how to trade options in 2020 as well. So in the midst of the pandemic, I was still working virtually how we are right now. I was
Right.
teaching from my home. So I was getting that. I created an ebook, which was a walk in the park guide for people just starting out or veterans that needed some more cushion, to ride along the wave.
Hmm.
So I created that as well. I started teaching others like me because I'm like, hey, I didn't have me, Dave.
Right.
I didn't have a me.
Yeah.
So to make other people feel comfortable, it was like a breath of fresh air for me. So it's like now, oh my goodness, every ounce of time, I have a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old. So my baby, she was like, Mommy, what are you doing? Stocks and crypto? I'm like, yes. So it's like you have to show them young. And it makes me feel so good because as far as, being a young Black woman, we can be portrayed as being late to the table.
Right.
So to be in the position that I'm in, my mom and dad had their feet wet with it. But for me to be equipped with the knowledge that I have with investing and to help so many others, oh man, it's a beautiful thing, Dave. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
beautiful thing. You know me, you know my tweets daily. I can go on and on about it. But the beautiful thing about investing is when you learn how to make your money work for you.
Right.
Passive income is
Passive income
everything.
posse, dividends. Shout
Yes.
out to buy investing shirts. All the merch over there.
Yes.
Link in the description. Use code word posse. We call this a toque here in Canada, just for so you know. It's everyone else
Okay.
calls it a beanie. Passive
Shout
income
out to
posse
the
t-shirts,
passive income
hoodies, coffee mugs.
posse. Yes. Shout out to the passive income posse. Yes.
Nice.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Like just investing in general. And I love the investing community. It's so much help. Like
Right.
just how you reached out to me, everyone is so cool. And it's
Open,
like yeah. It's like what's the
inviting,
use
right?
of exactly. What's the use of harboring valuable information? What's the use?
Yeah.
It's like it's no use in that. So I'm always here. I do have my I have I call it portfolio coaching. I have a few clients where I manage things for them to help them build their passive income as
Nice.
well. And outside of, my ebook, I do have a dividend guide in the making. I had to put it on the back burner. I had a little writer's block, they would say.
Yeah.
So, and of course, with my busy life, but I definitely plan to get that out before summer.
Cool.
Like, not saying because it's mine, it's a banger because how not only do I break down my own dividend income journey, it it breaks down each sector to help you understand. A lot of people
Yep.
don't understand there's many sectors, there's many companies, there's many ways to get dividends. So
Sure.
that's one thing I am looking forward to mid-year. And yeah, that's me.
So, very interesting point you made about your parents kinda getting their feet wet, and it sounds like you just dove head first or maybe just cannonballed right into the deep end and just absorbed all the information that you could in that 2019 and 2020 timeframe, and obviously learned a lot of lessons between, what happened in 2020 and a massive bull market through the end of 2020 into 2021. And then
Yeah.
what has happened since, through 2022 with market correction and everything sort of receding and coming sort of back to normal, quote unquote
Right.
normal. And then,
Yeah.
going into where are we going through 2023 into 24, 25 as that, the history shows us and tells us that the stock market will always rise over time, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
And that's why you really have to
absolutely.
look at that long-term investing and not get too hung up on those, what you referred to as like learning at your or, learning lessons through that 21 and
Yes,
22 time frame.
yes. You can't. One thing about investing, you got to have tough skin. You got to have tough skin. You got to know how to control your emotions. If you do
100%.
not know how to do those two things, investing ain't for you. Point blank, period. You cannot cry over spilled milk with investing. You got to come back to the table and be like, look, how can I make this better? How can I add more? What can I do to make my situation go up and
Right.
never down again? You must always learn from your loss. There's a lesson in every loss. And every great investor, like, I mean, come on, everyone has taken a loss somewhere.
Yeah.
If you
Oh, I've
haven't taken
taken
a loss,
many. I've taken so
right.
many.
If you haven't taken a loss on your journey, like, yeah, you're lying.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've even said that before.
Yeah, and I'm like, I said about my 25K loss. I'm sure somebody else like, hell, I've lost way more than that.
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm
guaranteed.
like, yeah, that was enough for me. And I say, come back better. So it's like, you live and you learn. Truly, the
Yep.
older that you get. I don't look like it, but I'm 39. I'll be 40 later on this year.
Holy
And had
wow,
I
no, you
known,
don't look that old at all.
I know. And I actually graduated college. Shout out to FAMU. Woo! I graduated college at the peak of 2008
Oh, so
recession.
right in the other financial crisis.
Yes. Back then, I had no idea what the heck was going on. I had got hired up there where my school, actually my university is. It's Tallahassee, Florida. And my job position was put on hold. I was supposed to be doing the same thing I'm doing here. They wanted me to place me out about 25 minutes away, and I was like, no, I'm not driving. And I didn't realize, Dave, until about 3 years later. That's why that happened. We were in a recession.
Right.
I didn't know anything about a recession. Like, my college job was McDonald's. So, like, I was working at McDonald's. I did hair on the side. That's another thing about me. I am a hustler, Dave.
Yeah, you
I've
got the side
always,
hustles going.
yes, I've always known since a kid, like, you got to have more than one stream. So
Right.
it's like, when that happened, I didn't know until, a few years later. And I had no idea back then I could have invested in McDonald's stock. You know how much it was in 2008, Dave?
I honestly, I
20,
have no idea.
20, 20 to like $21 a share. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Had no idea. So it's like it comes back again, that saying, you live and you learn. And when you know better, you do better. It's
that's a
out
great
here.
saying.
It's out here. I tell people all the time, when you have those people that say, I don't like social media. I don't use, and I'm like, you got to use it to your advantage.
Yep.
I've always used social media, whether it was for hair or my other business ventures and family that's far away.
Mhm.
You have to use it to your advantage. It's either going to make you money or keep you happy, meaning seeing family and friends that you can't,
Yeah.
So when
And
people
not
say
try to
those
compare
kinds of
everything on
things,
social media to all the perfect pictures you see on Instagram because life isn't perfect. People are just posting like their highlight reel and you know, everyone's highlight reel is not real life, right?
Say it again, Dave. Say that again.
Everyone's highlight reel is not real life.
For the people in the back. Yes. It's like, I tell people all the time, be thankful for everything that you have that is simple. Do not look at someone else's life and think that you want it. You don't know what they did to get there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's one thing, you have to do. Social media can really, really, really kill a lot of things. And that's something I had to like my following on Instagram. It took a little longer versus Twitter.
Hmm.
Twitter took off much faster, especially with that post. I just changed it. That was my post for a long time, going from 5,000 to 85K. Like, oh my God, I got so many followers from that. But it's like nobody wants to struggle.
Right.
Nobody wants the losses. Nobody wants those 19-cent dividends. I was proud of my 19 cents from Jeppy today.
Yeah. Well, and there's another thing, like, you know, social media can be really bad for your mental health if you're doing it wrong. But like you mentioned, that the dividend Twitter community, and people will say, "Hey, 19-cent dividend, that's awesome. That's great. 19 cents is a lot more than zero." Right?
Exactly. And the thing you have to take from that, Dave, I didn't lift a finger to make that 19 cents.
Nothing I love more when companies pay me to not work for them.
Oh my goodness. That is everything. I wish I can go get my teen self from college and just shake her and be like, but hey, again, you live and you learn, and when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
So now in 2023, I proudly go broke weekly buying dividends,
Yeah, me too.
dividend stocks.
Every 2 weeks, I get paid biweekly, and it's like, okay, pay the bills, pay myself first, and then hopefully there's enough money left over to pay the bills.
Yeah, I get biweekly as well, and then my clientele with hair, and then my private group that comes in as well. So it's pretty much weekly for me, and
Nice.
I set it up that way, and that's a great thing. And I tell people all the time, because you can't depend on just one income. You
Right.
know, one income is too close to nothing.
Yeah.
So you don't want to box yourself off. So the more you get, like you said, pay yourself first so you can go ahead and take that money and do more with it.
Right.
It's so simple. I don't know why people complicate investing, but it is so simple. And like you said, the Twitter community, it is just so dope. It's
Yeah.
so dope, so
Everyone's so
helpful.
helpful with each other too, and so
Yes,
supportive. Like I said, whether somebody posts a 19 cents or $2 or $5 or $200 dividend, everybody, it's the same reaction. "Hey,
right.
that's great. That's amazing. Awesome. Good for you. Good job." Right? And
Yes,
and
they're
right from one end of the
celebrating.
spectrum at 19 cents to the other at, whatever massive amount of money, right?
Yeah. And what was so cool to me, Dave, let's even like how you reached out. You're in Canada. Man, when I tell you, Dave, I had people in South Africa going harder for me than my aunts, aunties, and cousins here in America. Okay. Like, it is so, so dope. Like,
Yeah,
I love it. And it's just like, you want a pick me up, go on Money Twitter.
right.
You have to bring yourself from the other side of Twitter, like you said, where they're just
Everybody's bashing
devaluing their
everybody,
time.
or there's just endless
Yeah,
Twitter fights or whatever. You
yeah.
avoid that stuff, right?
I don't even follow those kind of people. Like that's another thing. Like,
I
and
don't
I
want the
separate.
negativity.
Yeah, that's another thing. You have to separate everything. I have three IGs, and that's purposely. No, I have four, Dave. Oh my goodness, it's one business I forget about. I have a fitness business, I have my We Invest, and I have my hair page, and I have my personal. And it's
Right.
very, very important to separate everything so you can stay organized and you can breathe.
Yes.
When you have everything together, it's chaos. You
Yeah.
you, you can't no, it's chaotic. Now as far as Twitter, That's the only one I have because I love money Twitter. I don't want anything to do with any other side of Twitter. I don't
Yeah,
want it.
yeah.
I don't want it. But yeah, like passive income is just everything. Passive income is everything. Like, how long have you been investing?
Oh, well, again, I'm older than I look also. I'm 10 years older than you.
Oh
And
my goodness, you look great, Dave.
yeah, well, thank
Wow,
you. There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray in the beard, but
that's fine.
uh, I've had a very long story with investing, and like yourself, a lot of mistakes that I've made over the course of. I've literally made a lifetime of mistakes,
Yeah,
and I've learned from them, hopefully. And so, yeah, I've been a guest on other podcasts, and that's where I kind of go into greater detail and tell my whole background and whole story. So,
right.
but basically, yeah, I started at like 19, 20 years old, and it's like I said, a lot of mistakes over the years. So those other podcasts, quick shout out to Green Candle IT, One Penny Podcast, and Newcomer Investor. I think basically Green Candle IT podcast was the one where I went into the most depth about my whole story and all the mistakes that I've made. So many mistakes.
Yeah,
So many
yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I did a very extensive one 2020 where I went in just a little deeper than here, but I pretty much freely tell my story. I have no problem, but that was prior to the 25K loss.
Yeah.
So back then it was all smiles. But yeah, it's still all smiles as you can tell. Like
Yeah.
you can't let those
No, you have a
losses
great
get you down.
attitude. So you keep referring to it as a 25K loss, but did you actually sell any of those, or are you still holding, like, potentially that could go
Um,
back up, right? If you're still
I
holding any of
had
it?
I had to sell. That
Okay.
that that came from that margin. I didn't sell everything, but that's why I was saying I have a little over 25 to 30K in my largest portfolio, which has the huge in ET holding. So I'm holding on to what I have for dear life.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so no, it's not all bad. That's the great thing about me while going through what I had as far as growth stocks and whatever else I had to take a loss with. I had the dividend income.
Right.
And one thing I have it on is reinvesting automatically. So I told myself in 2020 I didn't want to touch any of my dividend income until 2025
Nice.
if I had to. So that's been my goal. That's been my motto. And I'm sticking to it. And I'm just adding more and more. And
And when
it'll
you
be
get to
back.
2025, you're gonna push that out to 2030. You're gonna be like, "Well,
Right,
you know what?"
right, right. I feel it. I feel it. Yeah. But it's just like, looking at certain things and seeing the amount of certain things, and you're just like, wow, that can pay my lights and water and my phone bill
Right.
all at the same time. And I did nothing for it. Like that's
Yeah.
where I'm at right now with my ET dividends alone. Like it could pay those three bills. And that's amazing. I'm not even touching it yet.
Yeah.
So that's
You just see the
that's the
power of
good
the dividend investing, right? And you go
that's
and
a
again,
great
like I keep
word.
saying, turn that cash register around, whether it's, physically, like literally a company, like say your cell phone bill. We have three major, well, now about to be a fourth major player in the telecoms here in Canada. I happen to be with Bell Canada, so I buy shares of Bell, and it's the similar idea, right? I want them
Yeah.
to pay me to pay them.
Yeah, like that is so great. We used to have Bell South down here, but AT&T came and took over and then you have a few others now.
Right.
So I particularly invest in AT&T because that's my cell phone supplier.
Yeah.
So
So saying you're in the exact same position I am of like, I use this company, I'm going to invest in this company, and I'm going to turn that cash register around.
Absolutely. It's like, why not let them pay you?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. I did a video one day just driving down the street, and I posted it on, I want to say, on my IG. And I said, if you take a look around you, majority of everything around you, Dave, it's on the market.
Right.
You're already spending your money there. What are you scared of?
Yeah.
That's one thing I get. Like, when I actually made that post from 5K to 85K, I had so many people reaching out. Oh my God, Novi, how can I invest? How can I make some money? And how can I do it? And that, especially, oh, when Dodge hit, Dave, everybody wanted to know how to invest, but you don't want to understand investing.
Right.
You don't want to acquire the knowledge. So how can you say you want the bag, but you don't want to learn how to get it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just,
there's I agree with you 110%. There are so many people that are looking for that kind of get rich quick idea, and get rich quick doesn't happen very often. And again, going back to dividends and passive income, I call it the greatest get rich slow scheme of all time, right? Like,
yes, I had to learn that too. That's something Warren Buffett talks about a lot. Like, and he's the prime example of that. He's the passive income king. Like,
right.
look how Coke just paid him. He get paid more than the CEO in dividends.
I think
So
doesn't he get like 828 million just in his dividends from Coca-Cola, something like that? I
I
think
want to
that
say,
might be an
Dave,
annual figure, but
no, I want to say it's around 126. Something like that I seen the
oh,
other day. It's around there what both you and I said, but like it's crazy.
yeah.
And he does nothing. Nothing but sips on his coke.
Right?
So it's just like it's great. Like, and I often tell people because in my area, a lot of times people say, "Oh, teachers don't make money. Assistant teachers don't make money. This and this and this." It's not how much money you make; it's what you do with your money.
Right.
If you have, like me, I have a two adult household income, so he and I, we're able to do things two ways. So what he has left, he do what he want. I do what I want. I choose to invest mine. So it's like when you have people saying, "Oh, we don't get paid this, and we don't get," you're either going to create a solution or you're going to continue to sit in the same spot.
Yeah. And
It's
I just saw a tweet. I maybe it might have been earlier today, or yesterday. Basically said if your income is 100 grand and your expenses are 40 grand, well then 100K is a lot of money. But if your income is 100K and your expenses are 120, then 100K isn't very much money, right? So yeah,
hello.
yeah, and so it's like you said, it's kind of like all about what you do with what you have, and whether you get paid 40, 50, 75, 150, whatever. It really comes down to, you know, figuring out the best way to use what you
Yeah.
have.
Yep. It's what you're doing with your money. And a lot of people, Dave, they live above their means.
Oh,
They buy things
I
for that.
honestly, I've been guilty of that more than once in my life. I've been there, done that.
Get out,
Try,
Dave.
trying not to
No.
do it anymore.
See, that's something I have not. No, 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 no. I don't do that. But I've always been great with money. So when I learned how to invest, oh my goodness, that was a game changer for me.
Nice.
I've always been great with money. I'm like, do I need that? But what's my killer, Dave? Food. I love food.
Hey, well, we all have to eat, which actually is a great segue because there's so many great food companies to invest in, right? Whether it's Costco or
Yeah.
Walmart or McDonald's
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah. So I
Coca-Cola,
love
Pepsi.
I'm trying which ETF is that I have? I can't think right now. But it's pretty much has McDonald's, Walmart,
Is it
all under
SUHG?
I have them. I have them. It's a few. I have about three, but many of them have so many of the big food
Yeah.
companies. And that's one reason why. Because I can spend some money on food. I'm not even gonna lie. But that is the only thing I could say would be my downfall. But as far as like just stupidly shopping,
Yeah.
no.
You don't need a $500 or $1,000 Gucci purse, or you really don't,
Listen,
right? Like,
you don't. I have a 2013 Chevy Cruze that is paid for. And
nice.
guess what? I am going to ride it, Dave, until it can't push anymore, okay? My Cruze, what it's equipped with, it's the same things that's in a Lexus and a Benz.
Right.
It's like you have to learn to make your money stretch.
Yeah.
A lot of people live in their head and they want to compete. And it's like, once you hit 30, you shouldn't be competing with other grown people.
No.
It makes no sense. So it's just like you got to learn to put your money into things that are going to pay you. Once I learned that, oh my goodness, I just look back like, oh, if I would have known this when you knew it at 19, oh my goodness, I would have been a monster, a beast. But nevertheless, like, I'm often reminded by, even you, like you reaching out to me, I'm often reminded by what I do. People see.
Yeah, for
People
sure.
see, they're intrigued, they love it. And that kind of stuff, Dave, keeps me going. It
Nice.
keeps me going on my worst days. Because sometimes you will look at your portfolio and you'll be like, oh my God.
We've all been there.
Especially during these times. But then you got to look back. You're like, okay, well, Amazon is $100 right now. Amazon was $3,200 in 2021. So it's just like, okay, take that $100 and put it towards there. So
Right.
you gotta think like that. And one company, oh, I wish I would have held, but I only had one. Was CMG because I love Chipotle. I eat it a lot, but they are high. That stock is high. Woo!
Nice.
But yeah, I said, if ever, I was hoping they would split one day, but I don't think they will anytime soon. But if they do, I'm gonna be right there, Dave, to catch it.
Front of the line.
Right? I'm gonna be in the front of the line with my bowl. I'll be ready to catch it. But yeah, like dividend investing is just beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm curious, is there any kind of one sector that you focus on more than others? You've mentioned quite a few different things, sort of, like the AT&T and a couple different ETFs and some of the different foods. Obviously, food sounds like a passion for you. Sounds like I would love for you to cook for me, to be honest.
You know what, Dave? I don't have a favorite sector. As long as I'm getting paid dividends, I'm happy.
Yeah,
But I would have to say my biggest holding is ET.
right.
That's my biggest holding. And I talk about it a lot. But because the dividend is good and I'm fine. As long as I'm getting paid, I'm good. And even one company during the pandemic that everybody talks so much trash about, but I held on to it, was Ford. I
Right.
held on to Ford and I ended up getting my dividend back. So
Nice.
it's like you have to block out the noise. And like you're saying, the question you asked, like, what am I into? If you are into that company, you know the fundamentals behind that company, you see growth, you see a future, hold on to it. You have to block the noise of the world. Like when Jim Cramer was, Ford is a trash company. Ford came right back killing it.
Yeah. You're like, perfect. Jim Cramer said it's horrible. I'm investing.
Right. Yeah. It's like, and you have the other people. Well, Jim said, drop this stock. I'm getting it out. Oh, I'm selling everything. Oh my God, it's a recession. I'm just like this, like, no. I'm gonna
Wow.
keep buying more. But yeah, so I don't really have like a favorite sector.
So
I
ET is
I
then like obviously your top holding, but any other kind of top companies in your portfolio?
um I have It's ET first, and I would say OKE is about the same. It's right under, but
Right.
of course they cost a lot more, so it's not as many shares. I want to say I think I have about close to 70 now in OKE, but I'm trying to build up more of my monthly stocks. I had a good amount of O, but I sold off on them when things got shaky, and I put them
Yeah.
into the energy sector. So one thing about energy, you're always going to need lights and gas. So
Right.
I would have to say, you know what, you made me think about that. I want to say the energy sector is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's always money flowing. And banking. It's always money flowing and banking as well. But that's a little shaky right now too. Oof.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought up banking because right off the top you mentioned TD Ameritrade. TD is actually Toronto Dominion. It's one of the big 5 Canadian banks, and the Canadian banks, as I'm sure you're aware, are very well known for being very rock solid. Um,
Yeah.
they've the first one is in 2029, so it's just 6 years away. The first one, I believe, is Bank of Nova Scotia is coming up on a 200-year anniversary of dividend payments.
Wow. That's
Yeah, 200 year.
crazy.
And then
Wow.
the next one is I believe 2033 is the next one that has the 200-year anniversary. And then so all of them are over 150 years now of consistent dividend, like consistency and longevity of dividend payments. They haven't had dividend raises every year, obviously over 200 years, but
Right.
just that consistency alone says, "Oh wow,"
All
right?
right. Yeah, yeah.
And the
That's what
banking
I'm
rules in
saying.
Canada are different. Like the banks in Canada survived that 2008 financial crisis much better than the U.S. banks did, and pretty much the same things go. I've said it in a couple past podcasts where I'm like, I almost see history repeating itself right now with all the chaos in the U.S. with these regional banks, and the
Yeah.
Canadian banks are just sort of like even flow.
Skating through. Skating through, right?
Yeah,
Skating through. And TD started popping up here like heavenly within the past few years as well. And now here, Charles Schwab has bought TD out. It's been in the making, it said about 5 years. But
right.
everything is supposed to be changing over. Um, so I'm like, okay, well, time to learn a new platform. And it reminds me of Wells Fargo. Before that, I was with the Wells Fargo since it was First Union. It went from First Union to Wachovia and then Wells Fargo. So it's like nothing really much changes.
Right.
Your assets are safe, and that's great to know. I didn't know that about TD. Like that was good info, Dave. Like I didn't know that. So I mean, hey, I'm rocking. I love the platform, so that gave me an even more boost. That's great to know, like solid. And there's a lot here that's not done right. That's why you have to educate yourself. And we live in an age of where it's out there. It's at your fingertips.
It's
And
so
people just
easy to get the information now when you look for it, right?
yeah. And people refuse to do it, Dave. Like they just
Yeah.
refuse.
Like, it sounds like we're both old enough to remember when you couldn't just go to Google and type in literally anything that you wanted to know, right?
Listen, my first computer was the black screen with the orange letters, okay? Like when AOL first came out, okay? Like, no, I lived through all that. MySpace, all that. So it's like now that everything is out, it's like people don't trust a lot. But it's like you'll miss opportunities with that mentality.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like there is so much information and misinformation, but the fact is that you can weed through the misinformation by doing enough, say Google searches or whatever other, search engines and platforms through YouTube videos, and you can form your own opinion as well, do your own research,
Exactly.
and you can figure out, okay, what is accurate and what is misinformation here, right? Like,
Exactly, exactly. So when I speak to certain people about investing, it's funny that you spoke about that Gucci bag earlier. They'll have their Gucci bag, their designer glasses. And I'm like, hey, they like, Novie, what are you doing? Like what you into? I see your posts and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're investing. Well, I need a lot of money. I'm like, no, you don't need a lot. Well, I don't know. I just don't think I have enough money. Well, if you take off what you have on, you can start a whole entire portfolio with that. But
Right?
Dave,
Right?
people are asleep, my brother. You hear me? They are asleep.
Yeah.
So some people you have to leave them. You have to
And it
let them
doesn't take
sleep
much
off.
to turn like, even guys can be wearing $2,000 real fast when you put on a couple like, some Air Jordans and Levi or whatever expensive jeans and maybe an expensive shirt, and all of a sudden, it doesn't take long to add up to $1,000, right?
Exactly. Listen, I went toe to toe with my fiance back and forth, and to the point where I had to leave it alone, Dave. He's one of the old timers. He puts the money under the mattress, okay? You don't trust anything. But he came around, He has a TD Ameritrade account now too. He may
Nice.
not invest as much as me, but sometimes you have to leave people and they'll come back if they want
Yeah.
it. So if I can learn that from someone that's that close to me, the average person that turns it away, it doesn't even bother me because I have strangers weekly, asking questions, following just to see what I post, sending me messages. They love what I post, how I've helped them, like,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's dope. Like you say, it's out there. It's up to the person to catch it, to receive it, and not only harbor it and understand, but execute. Execution is important because
Right.
you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you do not use it, what is it for?
Right. I've had a few other guests with spouses similar to what you've described where, you know, they have a little bit, but they start seeing, "Hey, I'm getting a dollar or $3 or $5 every, whether it's monthly or quarterly, for not doing anything." And over time they start to see, "Hey, this is pretty good. I'm getting this is pretty good," right? So I'm
Exactly.
saying there's hope for your husband yet on that one for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And well, one good thing, he loves Nike. So that's one of his first stocks. So
Nice.
in due time, I can't say he's great with money. So, hey, can't beat him up.
Right, right.
Yep. You gotta learn that other people, as long as they're great in an important sector that's very important in a relationship. Many people break up over finances. So
Yep,
when you have a partner that is great with money, you can go from there. You got to pick and choose your battles with
exactly.
daily life and everything. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my story, Dave. And yeah, I am a very busy person. But when it comes to investing, speaking on it, I make time.
Nice.
And you can't go wrong with that because on this journey, you're going to come across so many people. And majority of the time, your encounters, you build lifelong relationships.
Right.
We may never see each other face to face in life, but from Money Twitter, you got a brother or a sister that's rooting for you.
Yep.
And that's one thing I appreciate. Like we both share great content and we just got to
Everybody's
keep.
rooting for everybody. That's what I love about
Exactly.
the Dividend Twitter community. It's like
Yes. We just got to keep shouting from the mountaintop and see who wants to come along. And if
yeah,
they don't, hey, wish them well. Wish them well. That's all we can do. But passive income is everything. And yes, guys, that's my link tree. WeInvestCulture.com is my website. Um, my link tree is very user friendly, very helpful for those of you that want to start, those of you that are even veterans with investing. There's plenty of things right there for you to help you get started. And I will be promoting that dividend guide coming out soon.
Nice.
You guys lay around for it. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, so just off the top here, get into crypto and earn Bitcoin, affiliate marketing link, Fab Glam Fit website, We Invest website, get a free stock when you download Robinhood. We don't have Robinhood here in Canada. We have a different app, but it's pretty similar. Same thing. It's called Wealth Simple, and if you refer somebody, you both get a free stock. Um,
Okay.
and here's 20 just for stashing with me. So yeah, those look like some very useful links in that link tree, which of course I will put in the link in the description below.
Yeah. Well, I greatly appreciate this, Dave. I'm so glad we collaborated on this, and I look forward to the future. I'm always here for anything investing.
Awesome.
And if you're out there weary with starting, my motto is just start. Don't
Just
wait.
get on base. That's another one of my sayings. I call it my money. The movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt and Jonah
Yeah.
Hill. So I call it my Moneyball
Yeah.
reference. Just get on base. Just get on base. Get hit by a pitch. Bases on balls.
Exactly. See, Dave,
Just get
great
on base.
minds. Great minds thinking like, yes, just get on point with it. Just start. Starting is key, and consistency will keep you afloat with anything in this investing world. Thick skin and keep going.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. I've had so much fun, and yeah, you're just a ball of energy, which is great as well.
Thank you so much, Dave. It's my pleasure. And shout out to Canada. I
Yeah,
can't wait to
awesome.
come
Come
visit.
visit anytime. We're here. We're open.
All right. My pleasure, Dave.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you're still here watching nearly an hour later, you know the rules. You have to subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.